everybody wants the dream. Everybody wants the African dream, the land, the family, the freedom. But nobody wants or talks about what it takes to actually arrive at that place, the leadership that is required, the grief that you experience with your old life, and the goal to help and serve a community of people along the way. And so in today's live, we're going to talk with my friend and colleague, Ambassador Tim Ford of T3andMe, and he's going to talk about his family, his fortune, and his focus in building on the continent of Africa, in East Africa, specifically in Tanzania. So welcome to the live. It's midday here over on the east and southern part of Africa. It's early morning, I think, way early morning if you're on the Eastern Standard Time in the US or even the UK. But welcome to the live stream. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. On Ashley in Africa on this channel, I share my experience of living, moving, and doing business across the continent, and I help people diversify their real estate and financial investments the way smart money does, strategically, legally, and with on-the-ground support, a due diligence process that most people don't even know exists, okay? And so if this type of content you resonate with it, you find value in it, be sure to like this video and share it with someone who would also find value. And so, as I mentioned, this journey is not for the faint of heart, okay? When you're building on the continent, you absolutely need to have resilience. You need to have a willingness to pivot. And I think community is also something so important that a lot of people don't talk about. And so we're going to talk a lot about what it could look like for you and your family if you have a desire to build, relocate, and invest in Tanzania this weekend at the Travel Move Do Business Conference for Tanzania, completely online. The link is scrolling below. It's also in the description if you want to join us. I think at this point we've got maybe 7 tickets left for access. So be sure to get your ticket before the tickets sell out. We have sold out in the past. And you're going to get to hear from multiple people that have done it. You're going to get to hear from my girls, my friends, and of course, my colleague and friend, Ambassador Tim Ford and his family. So let me bring him up and introduce him to you all. It's an honor. Welcome. Habari Kaka.
Salama dada, asante sana. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Karibu sana. So for anyone that is not familiar with you, your channel and your journey, please just share a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're up to these days.
So a little bit about myself. My name is Tim Ford Jr. I moved over to the continent of Africa. It'll be 5 years this September. So we've been coming up on 5 years, and throughout my journey, I've decided to use my YouTube and my Instagram to tell my story and show what's possible and show people what's really going on the ground. We all know we've been given the wrong image of the continent of Africa, so I've taken up the mantle of trying to show people what's really going on and how they can really do things over here. My wife and I, on top of the YouTube channel and Instagram that we have, my wife and I have an all-natural wellness business where my wife is a licensed herbal practitioner and a student midwife. So she has the knowledge and know-how to make natural products to help people with many different ailments. So we have that business in place and our YouTube and Instagram, and we combine those to do the work that we've been doing over here in Africa.
Awesome. And so what happened, right? What was the moment, or what inspired you to decide to move from the US to Tanzania?
So it was mainly the George Floyd situation. Us seeing the George Floyd thing, and at that time my son was, I would say, not even 1 yet. And me seeing that and having to live through that again, I didn't want to put my son in that type of environment. I felt like if I didn't take a chance to get him out of there, then he could unfortunately have the same fate, or I could have the same fate if I stayed in that environment, because it happens all too often. So yeah, we had that. We watched that happen, and at the time, our lease was about to be up in our apartment. So we were trying to house hunt for a few days, and we didn't see anywhere, and we just didn't feel comfortable anywhere. So my wife and I, we prayed and we asked for direction to see which way we should go. And after we prayed and saw the George Floyd situation, she ended up having a dream that we were over here in Africa actually helping people doing what we're doing now. So she said she had that dream, and once she told me, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's what we need to do, because we thought about coming at some point. People say, oh, I want to retire in Africa when I get things established and everything. That was our plan as a married unit. But when the time came and we saw that it was sooner rather than later, we decided, like at that moment, I think we booked our flights from 3 weeks from the day that we decided to go ahead and pay for the flights and sell everything. And within 3 weeks, we were out of there. And whatever we couldn't sell, we just basically gave it away.
That's amazing, because a lot of people I work with, couples, and I feel like in this season, majority of the couples that I work with are in alignment. Maybe the wife is in a stronger, more certain position than the husband, or vice
Yeah.
versa. Would you
Yeah.
say that you guys were in alignment, in easy agreement? Was it something that was easy for both of
Yeah.
you? Was one person
Uh,
leading the
th-
charge more than the other?
uh, Thankfully, it was easy for us. Like, we were on the same page. We were focused on trying to build something together. So when it came up, I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. There was no pushback. She didn't have to convince me. It was like, yeah, let's go ahead and make that happen. And just like you, I see the same thing. A lot of people, unfortunately, the husband or the wife, it's like someone is pulling the other one along, unfortunately. But thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that.
That's dope. And so
Yeah.
if there's for those couples that you work with, what's your perspective, or what's your advice for,
Mm,
you know, if for a man's perspective? So say the
mm,
woman, because that's how it is on my side. Most of the time the woman is like more interested.
yeah.
Um, what is your advice for the husband in
Yeah.
that process?
I would say, honestly, we as men, we tend not to want to listen to our women sometimes, unfortunately. But, you guys have a sixth sense and can feel things and have a certain way that y'all have a connection to the world that we don't have. So I think a lot of men should really honor the perspective that the woman have, and really hear her out and think about the fullness of what she's asking for, because it's really something to save your bloodline and save what you're trying to build. So we all know that environment, we all know the reality of living in that space. So our women feeling the urge for us to come home is like a call from the motherland. So if you got a woman that has that mentality and she has that connection, you may want to take advantage of that, because it's real development opportunity space and just things to do for those who have the right mindset. So I would just recommend any brother that got a woman that's trying to pull them along, listen to her, see what she has to say, and really take advantage of having a woman by your side that can feel and really understand the time right now.
That's good. That's really good. I was just talking yesterday about why I think Tanzania is such a beautiful place, specifically for the restoration of Black marriages, because
Mm,
the you get to see the balance that we haven't seen for decades,
yeah,
in
yeah.
the US. And so you guys are a pretty young couple, but how has Tanzania, and the fact that you've moved abroad, right? You have a family. How has Tanzania enriched your marriage, and then
Mm,
also your family, and what your legacy will
mm.
look like?
So it has enriched my marriage and family in a way where it has shown me, like you said, the examples of how it's supposed to be and how we're supposed to move and how you're supposed to operate within the family unit. It's been taken away from us as a people, so we really don't have a reference point of how it's supposed to go for the most part. We have great grandparents or grandparents who are married, some of us, but a lot of us don't have that perspective. We've seen divorces, we've seen bad relationships. So to come here and see an example and really see that it's doable, it holds you to a standard of how you're supposed to move. I had a lot to learn when I came here, and I'm still learning a lot, honestly. Unfortunately, I still fall sometimes. I still make mistakes. I still, piss my wife off and do things that she hates. So it's still a lot for me to learn just because of what's been planted within us and what we've grown up in. But being here, it makes the work easier in a sense, and you really understand that you have the choice and you have the option and you have the ability to change how your family operates. Because if we're in the same environment like we're in America, it's harder for you to elevate outside of that mentality because you're surrounded by it. But in this environment, it's easier for you to let those things go because you're in an environment where those vices and those things that pull you down aren't as easily accessible over here. So it's giving me more leverage to be able to help my family out and do things that need to be done because of where we are.
Yeah, that's so good. And so how do you balance the business, right, and the family aspect? Right? Because you guys have the store, Ford's Herbal in Bezzy Beach with all of the natural products where I'm always, every time I'm in Dar es Salaam. Then you have, the Eco Village. And then you are obviously growing your career in real estate. How are you balancing all of that while being in a country, right, that isn't your home country?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't even think about it, but man, you know, I forgot who said it. I think it was Myron Golden or somebody, but like there isn't like balance, man, that's balance, I don't know. We just put time into what's supposed to be done. We try to communicate. If I have to do a video or something and go and handle that, I can go and do that. I just try to let my wife know what I need to do for a certain amount of time, and she'll let me know what she needs to do. And we just try to sacrifice and help each other to get to where we need to go, because it's a lot of sacrifice that needs to take place because we have, like I said, a few things that we're in. So we have to be lenient with one another and say, okay, I understand you have to do this, so go ahead and knock that out, and now make the sacrifice and do what needs to be done at home. And likewise, sometimes when she have to go, I have to make sure I stay at the house and handle things at home. So it's about sacrificing for each other and just communicating and trying to be on the same page as much as we can.
Yeah, and you're no stranger to sacrifice. I think even making the move, right, you sacrifice in that process.
Yeah.
And speaking of, so I know I shared a couple of the businesses and the ventures that you're in, because so many people ask, oh, what are the job opportunities? And so we're big on this channel, and I know you push entrepreneurship and opportunities, but can you talk about the multiple streams of income and why it's so important to have that in your arsenal, especially as you are building, right, and recreating a life and a legacy in Tanzania?
It lagged a little bit. You said multiple streams of income and what? The importance?
The importance of having the multiple streams of income, why it's necessary.
Okay.
As you're building your family and your, ultimately your legacy in Tanzania.
Okay. So the multiple streams of income we have has come from the personal brand that I've been able to build from consistently showing up on YouTube and Instagram. Like at the end of the day, we all are on social media. We are all consuming content in some sort of way. But I just made the strategic decision to stop being a consumer and decide to play the game and play a role in producing on these platforms. So we have an option to either consume or produce. So once I made that decision to produce, that opened up more doors for streams of income to come in. One, we have the YouTube AdSense. I get paid from YouTube from doing content. So they put ads into the video and we get paid from that. We do consultations as well. We help people to come over here to the continent of Africa to learn what they need to know to set a firm foundation. And my wife also offers herbal consultations for those who are interested. If you want to figure out how to overcome any ailment that you've been so-called diagnosed with, she knows a natural way to help you deal with those things. And also we have the herbal products like we just mentioned. My wife makes the all natural products, and with the products that she has and the certification and degrees that she has, she's created a herbal wellness course that actually teaches people how to create their own products if this is something that they want to do. And it also, she teaches them how to be FDA compliant so they don't have to worry about the rules and regulations of the international, big brother who are trying to put certain laws and rules in place. She teaches people how to do that as well. So I've created brand partnerships on the ground with different businesses. I have one-on-one help with those who come on the ground and they want strategic and direct placement in certain industries and to do certain things. I've one-on-one consulted with people. I've done master classes to help people learn social media here on the ground, and master classes on helping people relocate. And my favorite one is the speaking engagements, because that's I love to speak. With the YouTube platform and Instagram I have, that's mainly speaking. So me being able to do it on the ground, it gave me more ways, opportunities to be able to provide for my family. And last but certainly not least, because I've been able to build this platform, it has given me the ability to conduct real estate transactions just with my platform. So I'm doing things on another level and strategically making partnerships that I'll be announcing in the future about what I'm doing with real estate. But all of those different streams of income are very important, because there's more than one. I've heard this new saying, we say there's more than one way to skin a cat, but we shouldn't be skinning cats anyway. But yeah, there's multiple ways to get things done. So you have to really utilize what we have access to. A lot of people use Instagram, social media for the wrong reasons, and they're just on there complaining and saying, oh, the white man this, the white woman that, or we don't have opportunities, we can't do this. They're using their platform to complain, but we can use these platforms to diversify and create multiple streams, because we need multiple ways to create money during these times, because there are so many opportunities. You could not only do content, doing things in the real world sets you up to really create that legacy that you are trying to create. And we don't have many blueprints on how this is supposed to be done. We don't really have any full understanding unless we're coming from one another. So each one teach one is very important to me. You got to use other people's stories and other people's journeys and tweak it in a way that supports you. So all these multiple streams of income that we just spoke about, there's several quote unquote gurus online that talks about this, that tells the importance of it, that really shows and stress, like, if you just put content online, it can go viral years later, and then that's a stream of income just because you were being consistent. So in this time, we have to have multiple streams, because one way could dry up, one way could close on you. You think you got something going on in this direction, and then one day they just cut it off. So you got to have multiple streams in order to protect yourself during these times too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And as you mentioned, it's been 5 years. It will be 5 years for you in September, right? It will be 5 for us in October. We were around that wave of people that came, around the same time because of the same challenges. And we all, I can say we in the community of folks that, we started out maybe not having it all figured out, not knowing where we would be today, of course, right? And we have so many parallels in the work that we're doing. And so it didn't start out here. And so when people are thinking about what to do, right? I always say, listen, you're going to see so many opportunities at once, but do really well in one space, and then go ahead and develop in another, right? But don't try to do everything at once, because it's not sustainable, and you need to show mastery of some sort in one area for you to then take it to the next level. But of course, content is so important. Personal branding is it's no longer an option, whether you're trying to move abroad or not. But there is a specific niche that you have been able to tap into, and that you've done a really great job with. Can you share any of the challenges, right? So we're talking about, you know, where you've gotten after 5 years and all of the businesses. What are some of the challenges that you faced in
Mhm.
building these things from the ground up and
Mhm.
being, in Tanzania, figuring it out without a
Mhm.
blueprint?
Mhm. So some of the challenges, one is internet. Sometimes the internet is a problem. So it has taught me patience and resilience on dealing with that. That's one. And the mindset and mentality of, myself at some point, I can be honest, I came over here with the savers mentality. I wanted to come over here and save Africa and save everybody and just connect with everybody who's black and look like us and who, say the same shalom or let's build the motherland. I was ready to try and connect with them, but I realized after a few years of hurt, pain, and heartache, I learned that everybody isn't there. Everybody doesn't really know how to build yet, and everyone doesn't have the mindset of building right now. Some people are coming to steal, some people are coming to leech on and take advantage of someone who they see is has potential to do something great. So I've learned to be more discerning and understand that people will show you who they are better than they tell you. Like people will come and get off the plane and say, "Oh, I have this great idea. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. We can do this. We can do that." And you get to trying to get that done, and then you realize that they've never even started a company. They've never even did the research fully to know what they're getting themselves into. So I've learned that you have to really stay focused and just discern things and keep patience because this is a place where it's difficult. Like it's not easy. We make it look nice. We're talented with the content. And we know how to tell stories in a way that touches our people, but you don't always get to see the bad. We're not gonna show you the bad because if we showed you all the bad, you'll be too terrified to even walk through this. So I've learned that you just gotta let people walk on their path, just give them the game, give them the knowledge, and come see me in a year. Come see me in a few months. Let me see you go through something. Let me see you set something up before we go a little bit deeper.
I busted out laughing when you
Yeah.
said if we showed you everything it really took, you wouldn't you probably would let that compound the fear of the unknown that already exists.
Mm-hmm.
But what I say, anybody that embarks on entrepreneurship, it is literally a transformational, spiritually developing process. And then you add on to that doing it in another country that you're not from. But I will say that even with the challenges, right, I will take it over doing it in America, because
Yeah.
there is an advantage of building in this way in an African country, even with the challenges. But when you talked about mindset, of course, like that's something that really builds leadership. And you don't talk about it a lot because you're very humble, and you take each win and you just keep moving. But you were inducted, and deemed as an ambassador for the diaspora with the African Union. And so with these official leadership titles, and then also the resilience and the challenges of dealing with people that have alternative mindsets and alternative um, goals to yours, right? Some destructive, some envious, and just some just straight up like in opposition of what you're trying to do. What has this taught you
Mm-hmm.
about leadership and the importance of leadership at this very moment for
Mm.
African based entrepreneurs that are
Mm.
building in
That's a good question.
Tanzania?
That's a
Yeah.
great question. Um, what I've learned is, and I mean this in the most humblest way possible. Like God has put me in this position for a reason. I have been through the ringer, not just from what has happened, through these few years of me being here. Before that, everything has been set up and put into place for me to walk into what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So it has taught me to, there's a saying that like, I'm him. It's taught me that I'm really him, because if you're coming at me like this, if you're spending this time, if you have this energy to try and tear down what we're working on, that means I'm onto something. And it gave me more fire and ammunition to say, God, like, oh, I've made it. I knew at one point I would be in this type of position. Like, I've always known within myself that God will be using me for something amazing and I'll be helping people. But the fact that I'm in it now is giving me more power and ammunition to say, oh, so my studying is paying off. Oh, so I'm reaching those levels now, because once you reach a certain level, that is when you reach certain devils. That is when you reach certain haters. One of my friends in America that I was talking to, when I was going through one of my tough moments and from dealing with people and just explaining to him what I was dealing with, he was like, baby, he's like, nigga, you made it now. Like, all the YouTubers I've been watching, all the people I've been paying attention to, once people start coming against them, that's the moment when you realize that they've reached that level that they've been working towards. So all of the things that I've gone through has really shown me and given me the power to know, like, oh yeah, you're onto something. You're really one of those people who making change over here. So it's giving me the power to keep going, to go harder. When I fell into the tough moments, when it got hard, when everybody expected us to quit and bow down, my wife and I, we looked at each other and we went harder. We decided that, okay, this is us now. So let's go ahead and show them who we are and why we're in this position. So it's really put us into a better position. The scriptures tell us to count it all joy when you fall into diverse times, when things get rough, because it's making you who you are supposed to be. So now on the other side of it, I'm grateful for it, but it wasn't easy walking through the fire. But it was a necessary thing for me to get to this mind state and understanding of who I really am and who I'm working for and what I'm working on and how I should help people, because I'm not giving up on helping people. I just know how to help now and how to keep myself and my family safe and not being so easily accessible. That was the main thing that was an issue. I didn't know who I was in the fullness of what I was doing, so I was just opening myself up, unfortunately, to so many wrong influences, just connecting with the wrong people and not really thinking properly. So it's taught me to value myself a lot more than anything.
Oh, that's so good. And value yourself for sure, and the vision that you have and the covering that you have. And so anybody that is doing purpose work, and I've also come into this recently, anybody that's doing purpose work would rather not do it.
Man.
Once you get to a certain place, you like, wait,
Me?
I don't want to do this no more.
Man,
like,
man.
I thought I wanted to do this and help a few people, but then it's like the call to reevaluate isn't to stop you from helping, but it's to, like, I think, structure how it looks. And so when I reference this along with like leadership for Africans, these young leaders, right, their accessibility to Western influence is essentially what led to their demise. And so we were there, when the late great Dr. John Pombe Magufuli died in Tanzania, and he kept himself, what we thought very insulated. And even after, there isn't a lot about his legacy that has been shared, but I'm sure someone will write that story soon. But when we look at leaders like the Honorable Captain Ibrahim Traore, you don't really see him. He's had maybe 2 interviews, I think, in the last couple of years, and they've been with Putin, who is also one of those that is very like, it's access to them is so limited, not because they don't want to help people, but because they want to help so many people. And nothing will trigger envy and attacks like when you show other people how they have just, succumbed to their own decisions of
Mm.
being stuck, right? And you
Yeah.
show people, not intentionally, right? You just show people their limitations through your action. That is the one thing that
Mm.
will trigger, just trigger the ops like crazy. And so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
talked a lot about this, and can relate. I can relate in so many ways, but I'm so proud of the way that you guys just stay so focused and stay so humble, and you keep moving, um, and you keep building. And so you know what motivates you? What motivates you to do that, and to not say, you know what, I'm going back to the US.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
an option, right? But like, for some people, we see it. We see so many people come and go. What has been the anchor that has made you and Chavon say, nah, like, we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep trucking forward.
Yeah. That's a good question. It's it's bigger than us. This is way bigger than just me and Siobhan. Like we understand what we are doing and who we are helping and those who really need what we are doing. So we are focused on making sure that we help people and of course making sure that we position our families in the way because we have knowledge of what's going on and how to set our family up. Like we're just helping people. Like we could be in the cut and not have to do this, but it's a calling. Like in order for me to get to what I need to do, God is making me continue to tell people how to do it for themselves. So I really don't have an option. Quitting is not an option for me. Like if I tried, there was one moment in my life where I went through something, and I didn't want to. This was early on, like the first year when I got here. Some people had rubbed me the wrong way, and I wanted to stop helping people completely. And I called myself stopping. And in that moment, I told God, I'm done doing content. I don't want to talk about Africa anymore. I want to do different things. So let me figure something else out. When I made that foolish decision, I took a motorcycle ride one day, and a rock ended up flying in my eye. And when the rock flew in my eye, like I ended up not being able to see and open my eye for like it was like probably 3 weeks to a month. Like I couldn't look at the sunlight. I was in the house like this, like couldn't see. And it wasn't until I came to the revelation that Negro, you supposed to be in Africa showing people the motherland, giving people your experience, giving people what you go through, how to overcome, everything that goes with it. So your eyes are not your eyes. You're supposed to be giving people what you're dealing with. So please continue to tell your story, or I will take your eyesight from you. Show them Africa. Your eyes are to show them Africa. So I don't have a choice. I tried to give up, but I can't. So this is what we got to do. There's nothing else for us to do, honestly.
Mm. That is so similar to a conversation that I had with Ashley, the founder of the Box in Zanzibar, and she was like, "You
Mm-hmm.
know how many times I tried to leave this restaurant? I tried to quit this place, and sell this place or just bow out, but." The restaurant space that she created is such a hub for the Black diaspora in Zanzibar. It's so
Mm-hmm.
different. It's different than anything that I've seen the Black expat community have in Dar es Salaam. But she was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know why I can't just quit. I've tried.
Right.
And this is serious work. This is spiritual work. But in addition to that, right, we're building businesses and we are benefiting from the growth and the opportunity that is taking place in Tanzania. So, talk a little bit about that. What are maybe some of the opportunities that you see for people that are interested in migrating to
Mm-hmm.
Tanzania that they should be aware of?
Okay. So of course I'm in the real estate industry, so I got to go with rentals. You can always make a good partnership with some landowners here or some landlords, and just give the capital to list your property on Airbnb or rent it out to some locals here in one town or foreigners who come here and try to get rental spots in different places. You could always do rentals, Airbnbs. And I was just speaking with one of my colleagues here in the office about this question because it's so vague. There's so many things that you can do. There's a lot of opportunity here. I like to tell people, like, it's like when you come to Tanzania, it's like you're going into the 80s with a cheat sheet. Like you're going to the past and whatever industry that you see over in America that's $1 million industry, you can be a part of creating that over here on the ground. So one, anything that you think about really can work, but you just have to focus and really understand that industry, really learn the ins and outs before you decide to go in that direction. But for the sake of this call, I'll give you guys a few more examples that we wrote down just to give people some sense of direction for those who may want it. Now, charging stations. Electrical vehicles are taking over the world right now. And Africa is just now starting to adopt this. So if you put charging stations in certain particular places here in Tanzania, this is a great opportunity for those who have the capital to be able to tap into that. And not only just the charging stations, of course, the electrical vehicles as well that will be charged at those charging stations. There's a limited amount at this current moment, but it's slowly but surely taking up traction and people are starting to realize what it is. And of course, the electrical, I know in certain cities in America, they have those electrical bicycles and the electrical scooters. That's a great industry opportunity. And there's a few malls in India that he just showed me where they have charging stations in the malls, and not just the malls, it's around the city. Like the charger banks, like these power banks that we have, they charge with solar, some of them. Like a lot of people walk around with these in their pockets to charge their phones. So if you had a station in place where people can just you have a prepaid card for each individual, and they just have their money loaded or however it goes, and you have these charging at a station, what they do is you can have your card, go and swipe the card, pull your charger thing out, charge your phone, put the other one in there, take this one around with you, and let's just say you in another part of the city, 45 minutes away from that one. They have another one for you to be able to go and return that one. So those are a few of the opportunities just off the top of my head, well, off the top of my notes. But those are a few of them that we see right now. But there's, like I said, several more if you have the right mentality.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities, and we're going to go over a few of them with people that are working and operating in those industries this weekend for the Travel Move Do Business Conference for Tanzania. And so we're going to be talking to someone that's in the Ministry of Technology and what the government is doing to support the incubation and the attraction of global tech talent. We're going to be talking to someone that is working in agro-processing and exporting and importing of natural oils. Tourism is huge. Tanzania got all the awards this year for some of the best top places to visit in tourism in Africa and even the world. And what else? So many different industries, wellness. The Fords are going to be talking about real estate. And so we'll be having people there, right, that are going to talk to you about the industries that they're involved in, as well as the opportunities and how you can easily find yourself successful in those spaces. Because all of us, we just figured it out. We figured out a gap. We made a lane. I love what you said about it's like the 80s. You know, it's like going back to the 80s with a cheat sheet for sure. Because you're like, okay, wait, this is how will it work? You know, but one of the things about Tanzania is it's relationship based. So you absolutely need to connect with the right people and make sure that you have a level of protection. You're lawyered up, especially as a foreigner, because that protection is so important. So you'll hear from my personal attorney, April Ernest, as well, and she'll talk to you about structuring yourself properly and legally in the country. If you decide that it's a place for you to relocate and ultimately do business. But Tim, what are some of the things that we're going to learn from your session with you and your wife, Chavon? What can people expect to hear from you this weekend? And why should they make sure that they tune in?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can expect to hear from us, my wife and I. We'll speak about the importance of, for one, learning the industry and learning what you're getting yourself into. it's not just you come to Africa with a nice amount of capital and you have your passport and the doors are open. No, just like Ashley just said, you have to make strategic partnerships, strategic connections, strategic things have to be done before you even get to the level of being able to tap into the industry. There's a lot of groundwork. There's a lot of foundational information that you must have so that when you decide to move and go into that direction, you will have the necessary tools that you need in order to help get yourself in a good position. So we'll be talking about, of course, more of the practical things that we've went through and some of the things we've built and how others can do the same thing if that's what they want to do.
Okay, good. And I love that you even talked about rentals because you can find yourself in a real sticky situation if you're looking for a rental property if you don't have access to the right team of people. Shout out to the Dalalis. I think they all mean well.
Yeah. Some of
them, right? But we say we give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But as a foreigner, you don't know what you're required. Some landlords will require 6 months, some will require 3, some will require 12.
Yeah.
Some won't, some will require a month at a time. But I love that you're able to even talk about what that can look like for people because they're always curious, like how much should I be looking towards paying? What are the neighborhoods, right? And as someone on the ground, you can really give that insight directly because even when I was there, the different areas like Mbweni is like popping. Like it was not like that when I was there. It was slowly coming up, but Mbweni is just a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And that's just one of the areas, right, that's adjacent to Dar es Salaam. So I'm really excited to hear from you and Chavon this weekend. And I know a lot of people will find value from your talk. So let the people know how they can find you and how they can stay up to date with what you're building on your side of the world.
Okay, so we have, of course, Teacher and Me here, where we on YouTube and we showing people the long form content where we give the political updates and we really show what's really going on the ground over here. And of course, some of the real estate opportunities that's here. I show house tours and I give practical advice on how you could get land and get rental properties and things over here in Tanzania. And of course, I have Instagram. My Instagram name is Tim Ford Jr. And I do the same type of content over there, but of course it's in more short form and more pictures, but I'm still accessible over there and you can see some of the work that we're doing. And we also have our business page, Ford's Herbal, where we show some of the products and we show the work that we're doing over here in Tanzania. We're building a natural product company and how we're trying to diversify that and take it to the next level. So yeah, Ford's Herbal for our wellness company. And you see my wife there as well, and Tim Ford Jr. on Instagram. And Teacher and Me here on YouTube. And I'm looking at getting into TikTok. I feel like I'm getting old, man, but I gotta stay in the game and really learn that one too. So TikTok and LinkedIn is coming up next.
Okay, great. I approve LinkedIn, but
yeah,
I definitely approve LinkedIn. TikTok is a lot. I'm also not on TikTok. But thank you so much, Ambassador Ford, for sharing your insights, your wisdom, your time with us. We appreciate you. And I look forward to hearing from you and the missus this weekend. Everyone, the link is scrolling below. If you have any questions and you're joining the replay, we'll be sure to address your comments and your questions in the chat. But until the next time, guys, we'll see you soon.
See you guys.